Welcome, Sojourners, to the Women's Leadership Mindset series presented by Teresa K. Page, LLC. My name is Teresa Page. I am your host and looking forward to spending these next few moments with all of you. We have a lot of work to get done on today, but first, allow me to invite you to connect with me by subscribing to my website and YouTube channel. Connect and follow me on LinkedIn, and always feel free to contact me directly via email at teresakpagellc@outlook.com. So what is our goal? Well, as an author, speaker, coach, and mentor, my mission is to help professional women renew their leadership mindset with fresh fire and purpose through the mediums of leadership development and coaching services. However, the Women's Leadership Mindset series is a new initiative intended to spotlight powerful women leaders and how they serve the world through their professions and purpose. So with the goal to help women realize their unfulfilled dreams and re-energize the leaders they always were, this platform is designed to enhance, empower, educate, equalize, and even emancipate, as our special guests share their entrepreneurial stories, provide valuable resources, and guidance in a caring, professional, and impactful manner. So, let's get down to business. Well, all right. In today's video, it is my pleasure to welcome to my virtual stage Antoinette Louise Sands, owner and web design consultant of Ashnnyinc of Brooklyn, New York. Antoinette begins by setting the record straight that her name is spelled just like Marie Antoinette, but she is not French. Although from Portsmouth, Virginia, Antoinette now resides in Brooklyn, New York. She is 36 years old and proud of her accomplishments of establishing her own website business, Ashnnyinc, in 2018. With working on her day job and being on the computer building websites, Antoinette says that her work and average life can be boring, but it sometimes takes a lot to be in her shoes. Nonetheless, she will never give up and will reach her goals. So to connect with Antoinette, you may reach her on her website at www.ashnnyinc.com. You may also email her at ashnnyinc@gmail.com. You may connect with her on social media, such as LinkedIn at Antoinette Sands, as well as on Instagram at Ashnnyinc. Now, we'll bring all of this information back to you before we go. But first, I would like to say, welcome, Antoinette. How are you?
Thank you for that welcome. I'm doing well, and I'm here, alive, and it's a journey.
Absolutely. It's totally a journey, and I'm so excited to be with you. I know that we have had the opportunity to be in the same virtual space. I believe we first met with Women Who Network, and which is an opportunity for female entrepreneurs to come together and be able to interact in a way to be able to either collaborate, to partner, to just be great referral partners. So I'm really excited about the fact that we're able to collaborate in this effort with the Women's Leadership Mindset series podcast. So we're going to go ahead and get down to business. I'm excited about our conversation. So why don't you start off and tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Yes, my name is Antoinette, like she mentioned. I am really originally resigned in Portsmouth, Virginia. I moved to New York in May, and a little bit about background behind my experience of Ashnnyinc. I went to Strayer University, got my master's, and what introduced me into everything was coding. I don't know if anybody knows what that is. It is computer language, and it's different computer languages that present something, like a animal or a page of a website. And we'll get into that later, but yes, a little bit about me. more about me. I actually um, love to do websites on the side. That's something that's a hobby for me. And I am um, just experiencing a New York life, New York journey.
Well, that's pretty cool. Now, I know that you're originally from Portsmouth, Virginia, and I believe that we discussed in our one-on-one that you have just stepped into the New York life. So
Yes.
before we get into Ashley Inc., why don't you give us a little bit, take us behind the curtain. What is it like being in that new experience, in that New York life?
Well. Uh, Brooklyn. Brooklyn is nice. Very mellow. Um, I mean, neighborhoods are very quiet and nice and stuff. But Manhattan is a little bit too busy for me. Um, so just to make a long story short, the journey has been experience. I haven't had a chance to go out and experience meeting new people yet. But it's gonna be that's gonna be another journey too, because I know there's a lot of people in New York. It's very busy, a very tight space. So that's New York. If people will know what I'm talking about, if they're from here or just love the atmosphere here. Um, I have actually met a lot of people already at my day job, but at the same time, New York is actually something that I told myself I would never move to, and now I'm here. So there's a change.
Awesome, awesome. I can only imagine. We bid you great success. As I always say, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere.
Yes,
So we bid
yes.
you great success as you continue to acclimate to your new surroundings. Now, you just shared with us that you did get educated in the world of coding. And I know that some education spaces or some education institutions are really making a push for technology, and especially amongst women. As a woman in that world of technology, can you tell us what maybe attracted you to coding specifically or to the world of technology? And why is it important for more women to be in that particular space and possibly also women of color? Can you speak to us about those things? What attracted you to technology and coding? Why is it important for women to be in that world of technology? And especially as a woman of color, is there room for women of color in technology? What are your thoughts on those things?
Yeah, so um the the background behind how I got into it. I did a lot of like user interface. User interface is like basically your monitor on your screen, and you're actually creating the monitor. And I was like, let's let's dig into this more. I actually did some behind the scenes or back end coding command. People will know what that is. Command on a monitor or desktop, and that code's never worked for me. Just gonna be honest, it never worked for me. But I always use Google as a friend. But at the same time, the command codes was just bouncing to me or just giving me that attention. Was like, oh, this is pretty cool. I'm making something or I'm creating something. And I know in the industries like designers or um, music industries, they if you see something that spots your eye or you're creating it, it gives your attention. It gets your attention, and it gets your motivation to do something about it. So I went ahead, learned about coding. I use codepen.io. That's a website that is pretty good that makes you beginning level want to teach yourself how to do it, and I'm self-taught. So Google helped me to find code. And then um, Google helps me a lot. I don't use any other search engine, or if I have to use any other search engine, which is Bing, or those are um, actual searching for words, just like a simple word pretty. You look up what it means, and that's the search engine, and it's helping you understand what the word means. And how this industry is for women and women of color, it's very interesting. People out there are doing it. People that are not women of color and women, period. They're It's not. It is a competition. It is competition through men. Not being sexist, but I mean, really is a competition. But you get your power is what your knowledge is. So knowledge is power. I put it backwards, but knowledge is power, and um, it helps you understand what your what your goals are, and understand. Okay, I want to do this. Never give up, and never want to forget about it. So you want to bring in that industry in your system or in your life, because it's an industry where people are out there, they're teaching it, they're using it every day, they're using it for work, play, however you want to put it. And it's I hope I answered the question. All three. But I can ramble on and on. But it's just it's an industry where it's really a lot of information that is really in detail of like how to create something or how to build something. So we'll get to that later. But yes, that's what it is.
Absolutely. And thank you for giving us some insight about what attracted you to technology and women's place and why it's a great place. Even though it's very competitive, it can be an awesome place for women. And I like what you said, that knowledge is power. So I think that's going to be awesome. Now you talked about coding, and we're going to get into your business, Ashnnyinc, in just another second. But for those of us out here in our listening audience that may not understand what coding is, we may have heard that word before, but can you take a moment to educate our listening audience just a little bit about what coding is from a high level point of view? So, can you break that down for us in layman's
Sure,
terms, so to speak?
sure. Coding. Okay. How can I start? It's based off of front end and back end. Front end is like um giving you more of a design, a web, not a web, but a design. So for the front view, I can put it like that in that terms. Gives you a front view design of or development of what you can create. So for front end, you're basically understanding how you're using HTML, which is hypertext markup language, and CSS, which is Cascade style sheets. And you're using these things to um, create a page or create a image, moving image or something like that. Um, and how can I put it? Using Google as an example, how to create the Google Black History Month or theme, or put any kind of theme that they create, they're using developers to create these things. And the developer is using codes meaning um for example, A is a code for links, and you can add a link or go to a link. And these things, this A is just one letter, and it's a code that means something um, for to press on a link and have them go to the page, to another page. I guess I gave that a good example. um, I'm not gonna guess. I did give a good example because it's a code. It can be small, and it's A is a small letter, and its meaning is what's behind it. And using the A is you can create it into an image. You can create that link into different colors. Um, this this code is so powerful because everybody uses it, and it's like I said before, coding is an actual play part or it's your work. So if at work, if you want them to actually go from one link to another link, you can use the A code. And I use A probably again for my letter, first letter of my name, but um so because I love my name. But I can use that A, put that name, my name, and make that as a link. It's pretty cool. Very, very cool.
Yes, that was pretty cool. And that's why your expertise is so needed, especially for people like myself who may not
Yes.
understand the language. So essentially, coding is what we visually, like we as a listening audience would see. Like you mentioned the example, like on the Google page, and the way they're always coming up with a new design, whether it's for to celebrate a particular part of the month. That's what we're seeing. And so on the backside,
Yes.
you have to create something to help us to see what we're seeing visually. Is that what I understand? It's a
Yes.
language in the
Yes.
background to help us what we see visually. So that's
Yes.
awesome. So that's why we need experts just like you to help with building websites and all of this. So this is a great segue to kind of to shift into talking more about your business, Ashley Inc. So give us the motivation on why you started your organization in 2018. Talk more about your business as far as what your service offerings are,
Okay.
and also talk to us about who your niche is, what your business is for, what your target market looks like as far as that demographic. So talk to us about your motivation for starting your business. What are the services that you offer, and to which target market do you like to work with?
All right. Yeah. So what motivated me? Wow. I did my whole business in Lyft. Can never forget it. It's my story. I'm actually gonna probably post that right after this. I did my beginning life of my business in Lyft. I passed out business cards, and let me back up. Let me back up. Like I said before, going to Strayer University, learned about coding, bringing coding to my attention, and then I was just like, let's put this into a business. Um, then I was like, all right, let's put myself in a car, use business cards, and pass out cards to people. And that's how Ashnnyinc actually really, really started. Um, I say that the story behind this business is a journey. I started out doing ETSY, but I was like, no, this is not going to be enough. And then I turned into Wix. I know people, right, very familiar with Wix. If you're not familiar with Wix, it's an actual web design builder, and it's been like I said, a great journey. Let me back up again. Hold on. I did codepin.io, which I mentioned before. That's a good website to actually teach yourself how to do code, and or to teach others how to do code. And I used it to one of my number one clients. My number one clients was a veteran organization, which I will mention later. Veteran organization, which I used all code. Everything was all code at first, and then I just switched it over to Wix, which is actual web design design, and the coding is web development. Those are two different things. And like I said, front end and back end, I did learn all of these things and have done all these things before. But the But the reason why I switched it over to web design, because coding is a lot of work and it's very tedious and it's a very long term. Um, love it so much. It can take up your time, but at the same time, they use these things as a actual business, a business. But to get to understand how people want things in a timely manner, and everybody's not patient. um, so I decided to switch it over to web design because everything was not looking the way that I pictured it. And that's how you start. You learn your mistakes, and then you learn how, okay, what can change, what can be better. So I changed to web design. Web design is Wix. Wix is actually a great platform, and it's helping people to understand how how it's easy for the designer and the actual person and the actual client. And it's helping them to understand how the design of the website you want it to be. So I can mimic an example of an example of a website. And that's the reason why I did what I did. The services I have is web design, maintenance, and SEO. SEO is a search engine optimization, and I will discuss that later. But those are the services I have, and they're all with Wix. I have dabbed into different ones, which is Weebly, GoDaddy. These are different platforms that I use, and um, I'm just excited to be here to discuss the things that in detail of what I have done in the past and what I'm doing now. And I'm still with Wix, have a partnership with them, and I am um, leading on to understand that these platforms are easy to use and not too overwhelming. So, um, coding is fun. I mean, I do it for fun. And I have to code sometimes too when I'm in Wix too. So I don't know if anybody understands where I'm at, that you have to still put in some customization in it. Just like just say, for example, somebody designing a shirt, you have to put some customizations, just not, have a plain shirt. You got to put some customization or put some things in there to make sure it pops. So, and that's my little slogan too. Like, I would love to have your website pop, like be the original website. Nobody has it at all. If I mimic a website, it's gonna gonna be a little bit of a twist to it. And yeah, that's how it is in this industry.
Well, that's pretty cool. I like the way that you said that when you first started out, that coding was what you focused on in some other areas, but you found that it was time consuming. And so that you went on with your business, that you evolved into website design because it seemed like you were able to meet your clients' needs in a more time effective manner. So I like that. And I like the way that you talk about that it's okay when you start your business, that you can start out one way and evolve into something else to meet the needs of those that you work with. Now, you talked about that you do web design maintenance as well as SEO, which is search engine optimization. And we're going to ask you a little bit more about that in just a minute. But
Yes.
can you talk to us about who is your target niche? What does your client base look like? Who do you like to work with?
Yes. I already mentioned one, which was veteran organization. I would love to work with veteran organizations. Um, I had a 2 years experience with the DAV 48 VA. Shout out to them. Um, and I just was like, this is a great experience. The reason why I reached out to the veteran organization is because it was through a actual mutual friend, and they actually was like, yeah, bring her on, and I have experienced so much in that within those 2 years. Veteran organization, they're very private, and they're very straightforward. I'm gonna say that right now. um and the experience was very, 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 very worth the wait. So that's the one of my target audience. The other target audience is startups, cybersecurity, um, hair salon, and barbershop. And those other ones are there for a reason. Startups is because I know people are just starting up, and I've actually done this in DC, where I actually reached out to people who just started their business, and they were just like, I need help with this, 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 this. And one of them was website. And I was like, well, I'm your girl. That's the reason why I want to do this in New York. New York is actually have a lot of people I know for sure in Manhattan or wherever it is in New York. Shout out to Brooklyn people out there. If you have a startup and you're like, okay, I need a website, I'm here. And that's how I feel for people who just started. I know everything is just like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. But that's where you have less stress and less to do on your time or on your little to-do list. Because I know for sure having a website is one priority. I mean, some people I have walked into or actually ran into, because before I had one one of my target audience as artists, like actual art people who actually do like art, and they were just like, I only use Instagram, and I had a long list of people, and I was like, wow, now I understand where I have to change my target audience. I can still reach out to artists, if any artist was out there, and if in need for any maintenance for their website, I'm here. But I just right now it's more of um startups, people who just started their business, and a lot of veteran organizations or members out there who are just starting up, they can use me as a reference, or something for them. And a reason why I was using cybersecurity is because I already did a client already before, and this gentleman is a mentor of mine. He's really a nice person, and shout out to him. His name is Wesley Phillips. And he actually is like a great cybersecurity person to go to. And the reason why I do these things is because I am doing it for the benefit of somebody to come to that person to be a referral, and or to because I just talked to somebody recently, and they were like, I need help with this category, which is cybersecurity. And I was like, well, I have a referral for you, and I can help you out. That's the need for website is there, but there's a personal need too, a business need. And I'm here to help you out. Um, Personally, business, either one. I'm here to be your need and to be there for you. Hair salon and barbershops, I use those two because they're all year round, and I need my hair done too sometimes. I need a haircut. um, I need some things, and I was just giving the return favor or return love, and to do something for their website or do something for them. A giving person, so I'm here for those reasons. And I did forget to mention one more, which is auto shops. I work at Advanced Auto Parts. Shout out to them. I've been with them for 3 years, and I love the fact that I actually am learning a lot about cars and car parts. A lot of auto shops out there are are actually in need of some attention, some marketing, something to give their creativity out there, and I can help them out. SEO, web design, and other services.
Well, that's pretty cool, and thank you for giving us some insight about your target niche and also telling us exactly why you like to work with them. I like the way that you said that even though you do web designs for your clients, that you also serve as a resource to refer them to other needs that they may have, especially for startup organizations, that there are other resources that they are going to need to be successful. So I like that you position yourself that way, and that you are a giving person in that regard. And so I want you to talk a little bit more about SEO
Yes.
because actually there's two things I want you to talk about is SEO and AI specifically, because we're starting to hear these terms pop up more, especially in the realm of entrepreneurs who are looking to pop, as you say. So when we're doing our marketing and all of that, whether it's video or we're doing things on social media and all of that, that it's important that we're using either the right hashtags or the right code words or, certain things to get out in front of people and to kind of come up to the top of the list when it comes to searching for a particular area. So
Right.
for the entrepreneurs that might be listening and anyone else who might be trying to get attention, especially in our virtual world, tell us a little bit more about SEO as far as what it is, why it's important, and maybe give us a tip or two on how to use it. And especially for those who might be, especially for those of us who are trying to get recognition in the virtual space. Can you talk to us about that?
Yes. Yes. I love to talk about this stuff. I used to be a teacher. I don't know if anybody would even know that or not, but now you know. I used to be a teacher too. I used to teach as web design and web development, and I love the atmosphere of actually teaching. And um, I do get a little nervous. I still get nervous speaking in front of people, but I mean, it's once I get into talking about it more and rambling it on, you you'll have your attention on what I'm speaking of. Um, but yes, go back to SEO. It's search engine optimization, and it's a search engine. It's a, I'm sorry. So it's a way to market your business. I'm gonna say, as for example, Google. You're gonna need to. I mean, I'm using a search engine called Google. You're gonna need that search engine to search your website, and Google is the top one. Google is actually the really big one. I know people use Bing sometime or other search engines, and they are not like Google. Google is not perfect either, but at the same time, this is your friend. You you'll love Google because it actually gives you a lot of intel and different answers that you need. Now it's AI like friendly. We're getting to that more, but it's AI friendly now. You search Google and AI comes up and says, "Oh, this is the exact answer you need." So with search engine optimization, you're actually, like for example, you're using Wix, you're using the Wix platform, using keywords, and you're using those words to actually make sure that the person who searched your website you could be at the top market. Um, for veteran organization, it can be very hard. I had to use, for example, for my old client, they're being with them for 2 years. Um, I actually had to use some keywords as DAV48VA, or I had to use DAV48. I couldn't use DAV because DAV is a very big search engine, and or a keyword that is very big on the search engine like Google. And to explain a little bit more, get more details, you have to know how to have these keywords and then make sure they're actually tested. Because if you test DAV, DAV.org is going to come up. If you test DAV 48, DAV 48's actual veteran organization should pop up. Or it can pop up with different DAV 48s. If you put in DAV 48 VA, that will be the exact actual DAV 48 organization, veteran organization. I'm using this example because it's very, very tedious, because it's like you have to make sure you're kind of the marketer person behind the scenes. You're marketing what people can actually look for, look into or search your keywords or your search your website. Yeah, just search your website. I can use my name for example. If you put in Ashnnyinc, it's gonna pop up with Instagram, with Twitter, with the websites, and you put these things in there in the Google search, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm actually at the top. But if you put in ASH, you can't put, because it's spelled as ASHNNYINC. If you put ASH, you're not gonna find me at all. It's Ash, because it's not gonna be. It's gonna actually search the word meaning ash, and then it's going to actually give you other search details, like other places that's called ash. You can't just put ash in there. You can't put ink in there either, because ink is going to be a big one too. It's going to actually say what is ink, or what, that's the search engine optimization really in detail.
Awesome. So just a quick question, and just to kind of, so that I make sure that I understand and the listening audience understands. So say, for instance, still with the example of your organization, Ashnnyinc. Let's say, for instance, I am a potential client, and I know that I need a web designer, but I don't necessarily know about your organization
Name.
specifically. Right. So from your point of view at Ashnnyinc, and you're developing your website so that it will pop up favorably with Google, what would you use in your SEO? What keywords would you use on your website so that as a prospective client, that when I'm doing searches for websites, that Ashnnyinc would be one of the results that I would find. So what would you put behind your scenes with your company, so that when I'm searching for web designers, you would come up as an option for me? Does that question make sense? I hope it does. I hope it does.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I understand what you're saying, because it's when you're searching for web design, you're it's gonna pop up with a bunch of web designers or web designs websites. To be at the top, I'm gonna be honest, you can't always be at the top of the search. To actually find that actual person, that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, is I'm actually using different keywords. I can put in there web design. I can put in there um different types of words, and it should pop up. But it's gonna be hard for you to be the top web design, if you get what I'm
Understood.
saying.
But what would so you would put web design, what would be other keywords that you would use for the sake of SEO, even if you're not at the top? What other keywords would you use so that you would at least be an option? So you would put in web design. What other keywords would you put in on your
Black
website?
owned, black
Okay.
owned.
Mm-hmm.
I will put in oh, this is a good question. I will put in, else do I have in my? I'm just thinking about what I have already in my web design and my SEO already. I'm going to say it's gonna be web design. It's gonna be Black owned. It's going to be, of course, what I've been actually what I've been actually doing is saying my business name a lot. That's the top thing. I'm
Would you
drawing a blank.
also include some of your target niches as far as your keywords? Would that be something that would be smart for us to do as well? Maybe what some of our target market may look like, some of those descriptors?
Oh, yes. Put in veteran. You can put in what I just said, my actual target audience. Put those in. That could be the top search for you. Um, it's so many different things you could do. I going in detail about that part is like a whole nother story. Oh
Absolutely,
my goodness.
absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely, absolutely.
you have to test it out. You have to make sure you understand what you're doing.
Absolutely. But since you have your expertise, but just it would be good to say maybe what we're doing as far as like what service we offer. You also mentioned that some of our keywords could be what our target market is. That might be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe our geography, where we're located, like for instance, you're in Brooklyn. Would that be a keyword that you would include as well in
Yes.
your SEO? Is your location where you are geographically? Yeah, and so as you mentioned, being able to test that. Now you talked about AI, and we're going to start downshifting our conversation. I'm really enjoying what we're talking about.
Okay.
AI, as far as artificial intelligence, we're starting to see that pop up wherever we go now.
Yes.
How do you feel that AI is going to either help or hinder the technology world, or help and hinder, especially what you do as a web designer? Are you going to find it to be a help or a hindrance?
I think, in my opinion, it's going to help because I actually use AI or Chat GPT. If anybody out there doesn't know what it is, if you don't know, it's actually a platform where you're actually telling Chat GPT to create something. That's an example. That's just an example. But that is it's helpful because if I have a client that has no content at all, and they're like, I need help, I can use Chat GPT and then say, hey, I need these actual things. Now, of course, I have to go to the client and actually say, hey, I actually did something, which is GPT. I use some AI in there. If you want to look at it and make sure it looks right, go from there. But the thing is, I'm using an actual platform or something that actually helps me to get some content, pictures, or I mean, anything you can think of, AI is there. Now, on the other side of it, it 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 can it may take over to the point it may make a website too fast or in speed or something like that. But you need a person behind it to do these things. So that's what we're here for. You need the person to actually design this stuff. It can show you, oh my gosh, this is this. I mean, this is the this is the website, this is the main page, da 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 da. But it won't show the actual design. And this is where we come in. We are the designers. We do what we do. And um I think it's a little bit of both. So if that did answer the question, I'm sorry. I can ramble on and on. Oh my goodness.
Absolutely. So, and just from your perspective, there will never be a time where AI can exist without human intervention. Is that what you believe, at least
Yes.
for now?
Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, Ms. Antoinette, I'm really enjoying our conversation. One of the questions that I really love to ask everyone that that I get to feature here on my podcast is that, you know, especially with the Women's Leadership Mindset series, that I believe that every woman is a leader and that we have a controlling influence, whether it's over a particular domain, a cause, a people, a territory, or a region. So, in your own
Amen.
words, what kind of leader would you say that you are? If you had to describe yourself as a leader, what kind of leader would you say that you are?
A sophisticated one.
Awesome.
I don't know why that word popped up, but it definitely was in my head. Sophisticated, because I definitely feel like I have actually done so much, accomplished so much, and I'm going to accomplish even more. And I feel like I have that power. And I know after this video, or I'm sorry, after this podcast, it's going to be, I'm just going to say it. It's going to be everybody calling me.
Well, I'm going to believe that with you, Miss Antoinette. I'm going to believe that with you. And in that same vein, how would you say that love has tangibly shaped you as the sophisticated leader that you are?
How love has, it's okay. My passion and how I never give up. Um, I'm so in. I was just doing something yesterday, and the gentleman was just like, I love your ambitious. You're not ambitious. It's another word for that. But he loved that I actually was not trying to give up on him, and that is something that I'm passionate about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so, as a person who never gives up, what tip, what encouragement or resource would you give to someone that is considering turning their dream career or a dream business into a reality, but they just haven't taken that leap yet? What encouragement, what tip or resource would you give to them?
Um, don't stress. Things are gonna come to you in a matter of prayer, in a matter of time. Um, another tip is just, be yourself and don't overwhelm yourself too much with things. Um, in a business world, everything is not gonna be like a snap away. It's gonna take time, and having to be at a level where I'm bringing the business back, and bringing the business back is meaning like I did get sick, but at the same time I'm here to the to be like I just said, I'm sophisticated. I'm here. I'm not gonna give up on this business, and I am doing this right now, and I'm ecstatic about what I'm doing and what's the next level going to be. Um, yeah, just don't give up.
Awesome, awesome. Now, what about for those who may already be already in the process? They've already stepped into that dream career. They've already started that dream business, but they might be feeling a little frustrated or stuck. What would you say to those who are already in the process of the work, but they're feeling a little frustrated and they're feeling a little stuck? What tip, encouragement, or resource would you give to them?
Definitely take some deep breaths. I mean, I'm just saying because I do that a lot of times. I'm like, what's next? And pray about it. If you are a religion person, pray about it. If you're not a religion person, worship to who you are, who the person you worship to, and just have that moment to explain that I'm doing this for this reason, or I'm here and I'm trying to see what's the next step. Just don't overwhelm yourself. Don't stress yourself out. Like, don't do it too much. I have to remind myself every time. That's why I do those deep breaths. I am here for a reason, got a purpose, and I'm never going to give up.
I love that. Don't stress and give up. And if you're a person of faith, take it in prayer. Take it right on
Yes.
in there with prayer to understand you're here for a purpose and to seek insight on how to move forward. Well, Miss Antoinette, it was such an honor to be able to spend some time with you and to get a little bit more insight from your technical perspective. And thank you so much for sharing things with us, taking time to explain to us, the listening audience, about the world of technology and how awesome it can be and how we can actually use it to market our business and to move forward. So as we prepare to wrap up, what are your final words to our listening audience that will take us forward into 2025 and beyond?
You have to be able to motivate yourself a lot on this journey. Never, 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 never stress yourself out. And in the business industry, in a tech industry, it doesn't even matter which one. You are the individual. You have to be who you are. You have to know what you want to do. And my decision was to be a web designer. And anybody out there who's listening and know, having a goal, got to do what you have to do to reach it. Having to do what you got to do, you have to sacrifice. I mean, just don't stress yourself out though. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Antoinette Sands of Ashnnyinc. It was such an honor to have you to be with us on today. Well, ladies, we want to say thank you for joining us. Remember to connect with our guest, Antoinette. You could visit her on her website at www.ashnnyinc.com. You can connect with her via email at ashnnyinc@gmail.com, as well as connect with her on social media, such as LinkedIn at Antoinette Sands and on Instagram at Ashnnyinc. Now, leaders, do you have an important story to tell that would inspire others to step into their dream career or business? If so, check the bio to learn how to become one of my special guests. And so for 2025 and beyond, I am truly excited to offer my Love the Success Factor Women's Leadership Conference Leadership webinar series, as well as my group coaching retreats as private events. So designed for groups of 5 or more, these virtual experiences are designed to support the leadership development and team building objectives of faith, professional leadership, and nonprofit organizations that champion women's upward mobility. So to learn how I can support your goals and objectives this year, schedule a meeting with Teresa and discuss how hosting an event for your team, congregation, organization, or your family and friends. So to learn more, please check the bio. So we want to say thank you for joining in for another episode of the Women's Leadership Mindset series. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, here's to the journey, and let's move forward.